Blockchain, coming at you with another technical analysis update. Of course, we are starting off on blockchain, tatrading.com. For those of you who are new to my channel, I'm primarily an Elliott Wave trader, but I also use other indicators in areas of confluence for my setups. So make sure you jump over to the website and get my number one trading strategy for free. Click the little get in touch, and I'll send you a video walkthrough of my number one trading strategy that's consistent, profitable, reliable, and applicable to any markets. I got some blockchain gear, and then of course do offer a private Discord as well as my Masterclass that is officially launched. You can check that out, and as well as Elliott Wave if you are looking at mastering Elliott Wave, which has been my game changer. You can also do so with a class from the Crypto Hippo, and of course preferred vendors, and then testimonials, so on and so forth. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the charts here. A couple things that I want to point out. I'll start off a little bit more on a higher time frame, and then dive into a little bit more of a shorter time frame here. So a couple things that I am personally looking at, just roughly with where we are currently. You can kind of see that on the indicators here, we are starting to kind of consolidate, and we are getting into that triangular shape pattern. So it does look like this is A, B, C, D, E from this move, the drop down. So what I'd be looking for is potentially a three-wave move here, and kind of a simple A, B, C format, and even possibly come down, test the lows of where we had some support before. Put a little line in there like so, and then let's tag the price point. So looking to test roughly that $8,800 mark based upon this move down, and that can ultimately lead to a couple things. So that kind of goes back to the question, what is this particular move up? Is it impulsive? Is it corrective? In my opinion, I'm still looking at this as a three-wave move up, as another ABC here. And so it'd be a three-wave, which ultimately, if we come down and, if we test this $8,800 area, potentially even the 9,600, that would really kind of be our first stop. But if we retest this area with three-wave up, three-wave down, that ultimately could lead to another C wave going back up. But that would be a pretty short, that would make this a B wave, which would ultimately be pretty short. So normally it'd be like another three-wave, and then another five-wave down, making that a B wave into something larger for a correction. So it would end up looking something more along the lines of, something like this almost. And, if we zoom out, we can get something a little bit different. But I'm not going to focus quite on that large of a time frame yet. Ultimately, just kind of wanted to focus on roughly with where we are with this three-wave move up. And then if we do pull some fibs for the trend, now that does roughly put us down pretty close to a 1-to-1 where that support 3 is. So about 8,600 is where that 1-to-1 is. And of course, one we'll want to pay attention to is the 618, which is right at that secondary support at really 96. But if you zoom in again, we'll get a little bit closer. You can see a little bit better roughly what I'm looking at here. So I'm looking at this move right here as an A, B, C, the five-wave down. And then with this bounce up, looking at this as an A, B, C, D, and an E for a B wave. And then let's check the time fib as well, see what that tells us. About right there-ish. Yeah, so I mean we're getting fairly close, and again this is the daily, so I mean we can even consolidate for a little bit for another day or two, but getting close. Normally your B wave is going to be twice as long as your A wave, which we're getting pretty close to that point. So October 11th is where that is. So anytime I'd say between now and then is really ultimately I'd like to see us make that decision of where we're going, because you can get a nice little trend line there. Of course, a little trend line here. Boom, boom. We can break up. There's always a bull and a bear scenario. What's making me lean more towards the connection to the downside is this three-wave move right here. And ultimately, what could flip that is if change the color. Let's do green. So if this right here was basically your A wave, your B wave, and your C wave, this does come down to the 1.618, which is the max for a C wave. And that would make this like an A, and then this whole thing right here would be the B wave. So you'd have your A right here, and then your B, and then your C back up. So that is the other option. The only thing I don't necessarily like about that is just the aggressiveness of this one extension right here for the A wave, but it does match from a fib perspective. And basically, right here we'd have an expanded B pocket within the three-wave move within the B wave. So that is the option for it to potentially play out to the upside. Something, again, want to pay attention to. I'll put us back up at 11.8. It kind of just all depends ultimately where we're coming down to, but you can definitely see that on the oscillators here, especially the CB index, I mean, getting super wedgy, very nice triangular formation. Same thing right here on the RSI. It kind of just all depends. It's tough to look at, for these, just because it is super neutral in the middle of nowhere. It is back on top of the slow and fast moving RSI lines here, and right in the middle, sitting on top of the bearish control zone. And one thing that is also I don't necessarily like is that it is hammering this support right here that we've had, really at 10,500. It was resistance here, it was resistance here, it was resistance here, kind of support and resistance going back and forth there. So that is one thing that I don't like, that it's just testing it and testing it and testing it. And normally, you test it so many times that ultimately it's going to break. So that is what's ultimately making me a little bit more bearish, a little bit more back down to the downside. But either way, we should see it kick off with a 5-wave move. Because it should still be a C wave, whether it's a C wave up or a C wave down. But I would look at a confirmation in regards to breaking one of these trend lines with a 5-wave move, and that, in my opinion, would be confirmation of continuation, whether it is up or whether it's down, and then really kind of just go from there and play it accordingly. So not necessarily something I'm interested in jumping in right this second. If we do dive into a little bit smaller time frame here, we're looking at the 15-minute. It does have, really this move down, which could technically be a completed 3-wave. For an ABC, and that should be like that. And then, we just kind of just have this little bit of a mess here. You can see again right underneath the pivot point, and we are hanging out in the bullish control zone. The CB index, this last little move up, I don't know, I'm not necessarily a huge fan with how fast the CB index is moving up versus price on this last little pump up. So it could be ultimately just wrapping up here for a B wave to overall just make this guy you know, something like that. You know, we could ultimately break it, and that could be our confirmation that we'll get some continuation to the downside. Yeah, pretty clear 5-wave move here. Let's go and pull a fib real quick. Yeah, 1-to-1 would be down here. Also, let's check the retracement of this thing. Yeah, it looks like that was a pretty quick one. Tighten it up a little bit, but yeah, it looks like we just came up right at the 618, so it would match for a B wave, and then come back down for a C. And then, you know, what we'll probably do is, if we do break this, we'll come back up, test it, and then that would then start our 5-wave move back down to the downside. So, yeah, ultimately that's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for us to get much higher. You know, if we do, we have this trend line right here. We got to break at really 750. But you know, oscillators were hanging out up here in the bullish area. And you know, I'm looking a little tired, haven't really actually reset. Normally we'll see some kind of reset before that happens, you know, just like we did here where we completely reset on the CB and the RSI. Yeah, that's about it, guys. Nothing too exciting, unfortunately, with this triangle going on, just consolidation, getting super wedgy. But ultimately, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. You know, if we do get to the downside, you know, for a 1-to-1 extension, would be looking potentially down to 10.4-ish, I'd say, in that ballpark, 10.4, 10.440. You know, within there, we'll probably come back up and retest it and, you know, hang out for a little bit, and then ultimately probably start the move to the downside for that 5-wave that I was looking at. You know, if we do come down, you know, we could find support right here on the 618 for the 10.5. And you know, we'll watch some oscillators depending how hard it resets right here at 10.5. If it comes down, it resets super hard on these oscillators and finds this as support at 10.5. You know, that could be potentially our B wave right here, where this would basically be, you know, ending the E wave right here for a 3-wave move within this last little bit, and then ultimately kick off. So right here is going to be a pretty important area to watch for. Over this, I mean, let's see, probably, yeah, I mean, today, tomorrow, you know, we should have some kind of decision, I would think. So getting pretty tight, getting pretty sprung up. Let's just take a quick look at the 4-hour. Yeah, I mean, that last little move reset it pretty good on the CB index. And I found support on the 40. And we're right in the middle at that 50, so a little bit of resistance there, and then finding some support on the bullish control zone. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what she does, but kind of in the middle of nowhere. Not looking at jumping in at the moment, just wait for some confirmation. So overall, guys, that is my thoughts. As always, if you like my content, make sure you subscribe, smash the like button, hit the share, and I hope to see you guys in the Discord.